All right. What's happening, guys? Happy Thursday to you. Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, May 28th, 2020. This morning, we're going to talk about the advantage of dreaming big.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right. What's happening? What's happening, guys? Good morning to you. Again, it's Thursday, May 28th, 2020. We're going to chat this morning about the advantage of dreaming big. This is, I feel like so many people out there don't make as much progress in their lives as they should. And it mostly is rooted in how they think about themselves. And the process that we use of reprogramming that thinking, that process does take some time and it does take some discipline, but it is well worth your investment of time and money and anything else that it takes to be able to get to that point of reprogramming that thought process in your own mind. So before I jump in here, I just want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening? Mike, Jeff, Jared, Dayton, Tammy, Trisha, Cam, Mark, Carla. Man, we got a group on here this morning, man. You guys got on here quick this morning. So, this topic is one that is near and dear to my heart because I think that everybody probably goes through a period in their life where this is a challenge for them, where, you dream big or you talk about what you want to accomplish or you have an idea in your mind and that idea is literally so big and so out of reach compared to where you are at the moment that it doesn't seem realistic, that you're even afraid to tell people what that looks like because you're afraid that people are, maybe going to tell you that that's out of reach or they're going to kind of shoot some negativity towards something that's really, really exciting to you. And so you keep that to yourself, or maybe you're nervous to tell somebody, or you're nervous to even start to take action on it because you feel like maybe it's just so out of reach. And so the process of starting to dream bigger and think bigger and be able to be comfortable in those thoughts, it is a process. It's a process of educating yourself about, getting around people that are used to thinking a little bit bigger than you are. Maybe people who are out in front of what you have personally accomplished, and they can help you be comfortable with those dreams. On the flip side, there are a lot of people out there that you will interact with that will act like they're super confident and that they have it all together. But there's times when you're interacting with these people that you can just sense that something's missing, that something doesn't quite add up, right, as to what they're telling you or what they're trying to convince you of. And so this is an example of people who, in that point in their life, maybe they're living beyond what they feel they're worthy of or what their dreams have ever been. Maybe they just kind of hit something at the right time. They weren't necessarily prepared for the success or the life that they have. And they're trying to convince you that they're really comfortable in that moment, but they haven't necessarily done the work to get to that point. So I want to give you guys, those two sides of things, because there's people that, are way out ahead of where they ever thought they would be. And then there's people that are kind of behind where they want to be, that are trying to manufacture their way to getting to that point of where their dreams are in their mind that maybe they haven't shared with people just yet. So Ed Milet uses this example of a thermostat in a room, and I think it's a really good one. What he says is that if you don't work on your thinking and you're not constantly improving and extending your dreams in your life, that when your life starts to heat up, let's say your thermostat is set to 72 degrees in your life, and you start to achieve beyond what you believe you deserve, that your subconscious mind or your thinking, you will actually start to naturally and subconsciously cool down your own life. Or ultimately, you will find yourself, and I see this happen all the time, by the way, you will ultimately self-sabotage yourself to adjust the temperature of your life down to a place that you're actually comfortable with, because you're not prepared mentally. You haven't prepared yourself for where you are, for the progress that you're making. And I just want you guys to understand that the opposite can be true for you. You can work on your ability to step into those dreams. It doesn't matter how big they are. And you can steadily and consistently make progress towards where you want to go. And I think it's really important to recognize what it takes to do that. And you know, for me, it has been, and I'm still constantly working in that direction, because there are a lot of things that happen in your life along the way that will send you in the wrong direction or send you a little bit off course. It will temporarily dislodge you from the path that you were on. And the key is that the more consistently that you work on these things, the more discipline you implement into your life. Bob Kopeski is on here. Good morning, Bob. Bob talks a lot about, and I'm a big fan of, writing your goals down every single day and not putting limits on how you do that or what you write down or what you want for your life, but writing that stuff down every day, creating that self-discipline to get certain about what it is that you want and starting to move in that direction naturally, just from the exercise of writing it down and committing it to your brain every single day. So I want to give you guys a little exercise this morning, specifically to start stretching your thinking and or your self-worth that you have for yourself at this moment in time. And this is from an incredible book. It's one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites, but it's called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And this exercise is something that, you know, people could read this book and probably just breeze right past the exercise. But it is something that when you do it, it's a super powerful thing to help you create that advantage for yourself of being able to think and dream bigger. So I want you guys to take a piece of paper today, take a couple of minutes and write down your best 3 to 5 assets that you have for yourself. Some examples of these assets would be your experience in some area of your life. Maybe your level of education or experience in some aspect of life, right? Your personality. Maybe you have a personality that is a huge advantage versus other people. Maybe the connections or relationships that you've built in your life. Just think about the best 3 to 5 assets that you have in your life that you're really proud of, and they've always served you well. Maybe it's your work ethic. Maybe it's your discipline, your consistency, your ability to push through hard times. Just write down 3 to 5 of your best assets, okay? And then underneath those 3 to 5 things, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think of a few people in your life that you know of that have achieved great success, but that those people don't actually have that asset that you wrote down, or maybe they don't have it at the same degree that you do. And what you find from this exercise, you know, when I did this exercise myself, it was really surprising to me how many people have achieved incredible success, people that I looked up to that were missing pieces of what was, you know, a huge strength for me. So they might have had different strengths than me, but there were things that I had that were enormous advantages over the things that they had. And so that helped me be able to get a little bit more comfortable with dreaming bigger, maybe thinking about myself in the same sense of those people that I, at one point in my life, really looked up to. And not that I didn't, you know, that I don't look up to them now, but I just view myself a little bit differently. I started to realize that I wasn't that much different than them, that maybe there were just some things that they were doing that I wasn't doing, or that maybe I wasn't using these assets that I have to my advantage at the same level as these people were using the assets that they have, the uniqueness that they have. And so I want you guys to do that exercise so that you can start to reprogram yourself, so that you can adjust that thermostat on the wall to a higher temperature. And when that stuff starts to happen in your life, you don't automatically, subconsciously start to turn that temperature down, because so many people do that to themselves. They start to get nervous that they're in uncharted territory, that they're starting to experience growth. It's really uncomfortable. For anybody who has had that period in their business or in their life where they start to experience explosive growth, it's really uncomfortable, because there's a lot of things that start to happen to you that are not normal circumstances. They're not things that you're used to having happen to you. There are daily things that you have to do that are very different than the disciplines that you've had your entire life. It gets your time gets a lot more crunched. A lot of things start to change. But those are the times when that discomfort happens. Those are the times when you're starting to step in to what it is that you actually wanted. And so if you don't work on that, you're naturally going to start to move in reverse to that point of comfort. And so the advantage of thinking and dreaming big starts and ends with your ability to embrace that discomfort, to recognize the gifts that you have and be able to just step into that next version of yourself, to step into that next rung on the ladder in life. And when you can do that, man, you look back. I just had this conversation with a coaching client of mine yesterday, and I actually had it with a previous, they're still with us, but somebody that I worked really closely with last year. And these two companies are really going through the same kind of evolution, right? And what I told them is this, it may seem crazy when we set these massive goals right out of the gate. It might seem literally unattainable. But if you just every day and every week, you start to implement the things that we work on, you will look back in 6 months and not recognize what it was that you were working on. And it was funny. I had the conversation with the client from last year yesterday. And I said, I had gone back and watched some of the videos of our coaching sessions. And it's crazy to look at that company today versus what it was then. And their success started with their ability to use the advantage of thinking and dreaming bigger. Because when we set their goals, they literally started to get nervous and push back a little bit. Maybe that's unachievable. But as they started to step into the confidence of, this is all we need to do this. Here's the actual playbook of what we need to do and the disciplines that we need to have every day. And if we could chain that together it's unbelievable. There's an old quote. I might butcher it here, but it says, we way overestimate what we can do in a day, but we way underestimate what we can do in a week or a month or a quarter or a year. And so I want you guys to think about that as you are starting to think about maybe some of the dreams that you have had, that you have restricted yourself of. Don't think about those dreams and how you get them today. Think about how you get those dreams over the next 1 year or 6 months or 3 years. And what disciplines does it take? What behaviors do you actually have to exhibit every single day? Or a majority of days, because you will not get them right every single day. But what do you have to do every single day, or as often as you possibly can? What disciplines do you have to implement into your life to make sure that when you look back in 6 months, man, you're proud of the progress that you made? And so I want you guys to do that exercise today. Take those 3 to 5 assets. Everybody has them. Everybody has those 3 to 5 things that they're really good at. If you can't think of them, get with somebody that you interact with a lot, and they will help you put those to paper. They'll help you think through it. If you need that help, reach out to me and I'll help you do it. And then think about, how many things you are really good at that somebody else that you look up to is not quite as good at those things. And so that'll help you start to manufacture that self-confidence and allow you to start to think and dream bigger. And once you do that and you start to embrace the idea of setting bigger goals and starting to work towards those goals confidently, you'll find yourself, getting a little bit more comfortable when it gets uncomfortable, and you'll start to move in that direction. And over a period of time, you'll just look back and be amazed at what you can accomplish. Yesterday was a day for me. There was a lot of things that happened yesterday, and I'll be able to share those with you a little bit more in the future here as things start to really take shape. But there were some things that happened yesterday that literally, man, I just kind of looked back and thought, like, I can't believe that just happened to me. And, I know why, but it will never cease to amaze you when things start to happen in your life from the work that you've put in for periods of years, right? And sometimes it takes years of no return for that one moment that could be a game changer, that you look and say, man, it was all worth it. And being in sales, that's something that happens to me on a regular basis where, you're not winning every single day. You're taking some losses, you're having some tough days, some tough months, some tough weeks. And you just have to trust the process enough that process will lead you to anywhere you want to go. But it's those that don't have the process, that don't take the time to write these things down, that don't take the time to implement these important things into their lives and work on themselves and do things like this, listen to shows or podcasts like this. And those people miss out on a huge, huge chunk of their potential. And they really ultimately miss out on their dreams, or they convince themselves to not have those dreams because they're afraid that they'll never achieve them. And that is something you never want to do in your life. You always want to be in pursuit of what it is that you want in your life. What those dreams that you had when you were a little kid, man, you never want to give those up, because that's what makes life exciting. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. As I ask you every morning, if it was helpful to you, please share it out. You don't have to share it to your page. Just send it in a private message to somebody. You can send the link to this show via Facebook, or the link via the podcast platforms or YouTube or anything like that. You can send it to anybody. Just real simple. You just copy the link and text it to them or DM it to them, or you can post it on your page and share it to your page if you prefer. But if you found it helpful, just share it with one person and introduce one person to these messages. You never know when you might send a message to somebody and it might change their life. I'm blessed to have a lot of people who send me messages every single week that talk about how these messages change their life and help them reach the next level in their life. And that's what we're here to do. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you all for spending the morning with me. Mark Forelli, good morning. Jeff Baker, Darren Ridnour, Bob Kopeski, Dina, Ryan Austin. Thank you guys for being here and spending every morning with me. I appreciate you guys. I hope that these shows bring value to you, make you think a little bit different, make you start your day on a more positive note. But with that said, I will see you guys again tomorrow morning, Friday morning. You know how I love Fridays. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.